All right, let's go tackle Patreon companion number 7, the Heliconia Stegosaurus. All right, this is exciting. Another Patreon companion all over again. So this time we are doing another dinosaur. We are going to be doing a Stegosaurus mixed with a Heliconia plant, I believe is how you say it, which I think is actually kind of perfect because it actually reminds me of Stegosaurus plates. So let's see. I'm gonna do you a little sketch so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. You can also look it up too, I guess, if you want. So it's almost kind of viney, and all right, so it looks like it's kind of sitting at an angle, kind of like this. Just a lot of back and forth. Obviously, they're a lot closer together than what I'm doing, but that's kind of what they look like. And then on the ends, they kind of turn into another color. Like what I'm looking at is red with yellow on the ends. So I'm like, that's actually works out really well for a dinosaur, for a Stegosaurus plate. Is that a cop out? Probably, but that's okay. So our dino, well, so his colors. So let's see. So you have the main, secondary, and the third. So we are gonna have the main. It's gonna be this nice red. I'll do orange because that'll be a good transition between the yellow, and then we'll have yellow. So, because this will be a nice transition between these two, so that's kind of why. But let's see, he brings growth to the forest from like when he steps, pretty much, and just kind of adds new life. Because then they'll just kind of pop up from his steps. There we go. So I think for this, sorry, I just hit this. Whoops. So for this, I think I kind of want to have him being almost like a lumbering behemoth, I suppose. Because it's a Stegosaurus, right? Like they're pretty big. And they also just have a nice long back as well. But he is lumbering, so do I want him at an angle of sorts? Let's start playing around. And no, my Stegosaurus is going to be different than probably what, you're used to seeing. So I have, that might be a nice option to kind of do it this way where it's just the ferns. Because he's in a jungle, so it'd be nice, I think, to have like half jungle. Because that's kind of what I had in mind. Almost like, I guess, I don't know if Hawaii, I've never been to Hawaii, but I almost want to say like, or I guess in like any other like kind of like prehistoric film where it's, or something where they're like traveling on an island, where you have like part of it showing as a jungle, and then back here it's kind of just like an oasis, so you have like a waterfall and cliffs. Like a plain kind of, that's almost what I want to do. I'm like, I could throw in a rainbow, so we'll see. But then have jungles on this side, and then we'll have some birds. So I think that would be good. So then, yeah, so if with his tail kind of pushed in, so we'll see. Okay, I kind of like that. I think that would be good to kind of have him doing that. And then again, the jungle. And we'll have plants. And then try to do that oasis on the side. Just so it kind of opens up. And then obviously other plants. And then his spines will be the flowers, right? And here's the thing, is since I do like other drawings, so I actually add extra little bits to my characters and such. Well, this is actually good because these are offset, and the Stegosaurus plates are supposed to be offset, so it actually kind of works out really nicely. My thought process is what I'm still gonna do is I still want to do the like little elements that I personally like to add just to kind of make my characters a little more special, a little more whimsical, because that's just kind of what they are. And then I might have some birds kind of hanging out because there's like nectar that kind of comes off a little bit and they like to drink it. So, and then have them, you know, flying around. So that's kind of what we're going to do. I think this works out really nicely. And it'll be like a nice sunny day. And then we'll have the flower kind of hanging out. I'll have to figure out how the flower's supposed to sit. I don't know if it just kind of comes up or if it's supposed to dangle. I'll have to look at that. But I think that would be good to do this and just have this nice little scene. So this will be lovely. Because the past couple I've done, the like lighting has kind of been like either going down, the sun's setting, it's been dark, it's at twilight or whatever. So this will be the one I've done probably in a little bit. I want to say probably since probably my first one, that's going to be have normal lighting where it's just going to be plain. So it's just going to be like nice sunny, and we're going to have just regular old colors. So it's going to look really nice. And that's what we're going to do. So I am now going to get to actually drawing him out, and I'm very excited. I love Stegosaurus, my favorite dinosaur. But I will start drawing him out. And then we're ready for color planning is when I'll come back and we'll figure out how we're actually going to color him, which is going to be very easy because he's going to be these colors plus green and a little bit of blue. So pretty simple, but I will be back. The Ember Bloom Guardian. Deep in the warm, mist-laden valleys where volcanic soil hums with ancient memory, wanders a creature known as a Heliconia Stegosaurus. A gentle giant crowned not with cold plates of bone, but living panels of Heliconia bracts, vibrant as sunset flame. His plates are blazed in layered shades of fire orange, fuchsia, and gold, swaying like tropical banners. The blooms drip sweet nectar favored by jungle birds, making the Stegosaurus a moving oasis. Wherever he walks, life follows. Ferns unfurl faster in his tracks, dormant seeds burst awake beneath his shadow, streams run cleaner after his passing, as though it filters a world simply by existing within. So you could kind of say he is the natural filtration system, because that's what he does. He's about renewal and about imbalance. He wants to kind of fix it to bring back the balance. So something like if, weeds are choking out certain plants, he goes and eats the weeds. So to give the plants more of a chance to stay alive. And on top of that, he's a walking feeder for birds. Like, how cool is that? But also just being a gentle giant. Normally, I guess Stegosaurus could be in a way if you don't mess with them too much. But I feel like overall that's what they are. Like, they have minimal thoughts in mind of food. Probably like most animals, So it actually kind of works out. But also just like he would actually stand out too just by being the colors that he is, especially like against the green, because red and green are opposite colors. But him also just being a nice fiery bright color, he would stand out absolutely no problem. But it would be so exciting to kind of see one just like lumbering by, just swinging with his tail and everything, and just watching the petals go back and forth, because obviously they wouldn't be very still, right? Because they're made of petals, they're not the complete thing. But let's move on to the coloring and let's see how I bring him to life. All right, here's the line art of our little Stego. I am so excited. Love it. So let's start putting out the coloring. So this is what I have for colors. I have 3 greens, yellow, orange, pink, blue. So we're just using the entire rainbow because why not? So, let's see. I think his main color, the main one's red. Because then, hold on, I have to think about this. It's not orange. So I think it goes something like this. I believe, for the Heliconia. And then it'll have that green stem. So something like that. Okay. So that's what I'm thinking. So, and when I do dinosaurs, I have a particular scale pattern, which when I color him, you'll see, like, actually, like, you know, professionally. Well, professionally. Because then probably on the plates, I'll have it come up a little bit on the ends, I think. Just where his main color is kind of going up into the plates. And then, obviously, orange will be a good chunk. And underneath him, it will be... Let's see... Yeah, this will make a lot more sense when I actually get there. Okay. And then yellow to finish. Because I don't want to add the green on him. So, in sense, I was looking at like color-wise and it had it as those. So, he's going to be a very warm stego, but that's okay. And then obviously we'll have plants kind of hanging out. I get back here as well. Well, you know what I could do? I could go back and add that little bit down there. I think I will. Ugh. I'm dropping like everything. Go down there. And blue. Kind of make it like a little oasis pool, and gotta color the birds as well. Okay, I'm gonna have like some flowery kind of plants in here, so I gotta include that somewhere. And then there's gonna be the grass, probably with a lighter green. And then back here is gonna have the jungle part, I suppose. So something like that. And obviously whatever trunks I have showing. So that's probably what we're gonna end up doing. So I guess somewhat colorful, but obviously this red, like him alone is gonna stand out because it's mostly like green and blue around here. So he's definitely gonna stand out, which will be nice. And we're gonna go with like normal lighting. So it's not gonna be anything dark, which is good. Just to kind of, because it's been again, that way with the past few of them where they've been dark. So I might actually get to do like normal lighting now. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna get started on that and then I'll come back so we can finish. Slow moving but endlessly observant, the Heliconia Stegosaurus is not a predator of flesh, but of imbalance. He grazes on invasive growths, consumes overcrowded vegetation, and spreads new seedlings with every step. Some say his heartbeat sinks to the pulse of the rainforest, and when storms threaten or wildfires creep too close, the petals on his plates fold inward, a warning carried on wind and birdsong. Local legends claim that every century, one Heliconia Stegosaurus blooms fully. All his plates are aflame in a royal red. When this happens, the rainforest enters a century of renewal. Rivers swell, canopy light returns, and forgotten species reemerge. People call this transformation the blooming of ages, and to witness it is to carry luck for a lifetime. Do you know how excited I would be to see one of these lumbering beasts pass me by? So Stegosaurus is my favorite dinosaur. I think it would be just as exciting to see a Stegosaurus as it would be a dragon, personally. It would be absolutely amazing. OMG. Obviously not within, striking distance, but just like real life, just get to look and see them walk by and like do their thing. Like, oh, it'd be so exciting. But alas, we can't do that. And we also should not do that because if Jurassic Park tells us anything, it's not a good idea. So I wouldn't really want it to happen, but it would just be amazing and astounding if it did. Anyway, so as you can see, he really stands out from the background because of his colors. Again, I knew this would happen because obviously you have warm colors against cool colors, so that's going to happen. But it also makes him really easy to see, especially if his plates turn like a bright red. You're going to see him. It doesn't matter what other flowers are in the jungle or anything, you're gonna see him lumbering by, letting everyone know what's going on. Also, just having all the birds flutter by. So I decided to have a couple birds on him. I thought it would be kind of fun just to include that little tidbit in there. Like they are kind of getting food from him, but also just kind of hanging out and chilling. It's almost like a crocodile, alligator, whatever it is, where like when those like little birds go into its mouth and like help pick it clean and that kind of thing. I almost feel like it might be something like that. Because if he feeds the birds and then the birds carry his information on their songs. So I do feel like in a way it is almost kind of like a symbiotic relationship, which is actually super cool. Even though he's just doing his thing and you got the birds kind of helping out where they can. Always fun. But yeah, it's also important to kind of clean up the jungle and stuff too, or a garden or plants or anything, because you don't want them overgrown with the wrong kind of plants. It'll kill the plants off, you'll get all the wrong things, and it's not going to go well for you. So by him feeding on these plants that are not wanted, it kind of actually helps clean up the environment as well while giving him fuel to move around. So it actually kind of makes sense. Because then, again, it's just symbiotic for everybody. So it actually works. But he was fun to do. I love drawing Stegosaurus. I don't draw them that often, but I absolutely love it because they're just so much fun to do. I think it's their body shape for me is what it is, because, they're kind of like low to the ground in the front and they curve upwards to the back, and then you have your tail. Do I like elongate their tail a lot? I do, but I love drawing long tails. It is something I enjoy doing. Like my other animals I do, like even, I actually did Myra. She's a bat character of mine. I actually gave her a longer tail than she should have had. I can't help it. I just like drawing the long tails. But I also have a character, Stegosaurus, myself. His name is Aerith. He's actually a green one. But he'll be coming on here eventually. So that's why I'm like, I had to make my little Stegosaurus an actual character of mine, because what else am I going to do? And yes, I have Stegosaurus in my room because I love them so much. I'm like, ugh, I just love it. They're like prehistoric hedgehogs. I think it's great because if you think about it, they have plates, hedgehogs have quills. They're both used for defense and they're sharp. So, prehistoric hedgehog, that's what he is. Obviously, he doesn't eat like bugs and stuff, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, he's just fun to do. And I've been kind of waiting for this. I got excited when I was doing this and I was like, oh, this is going to turn out great. I did like how I kind of had him. I did make his head a little bit smaller at first, but I decided to enlarge it a little bit. I know they have small heads compared to the bodies. I don't personally like doing that. I try to make it as proportional as possible. I do feel like his head, though, is still kind of small compared to the body. So I feel like it kind of worked, even though I was able to keep it within my style and the way that I like to do it, so it still works. You still get that Stegosaurus effect. But even the way I do his scales is particular to me because obviously Stegosauruses and like dinosaurs wouldn't have these type of scale pattern. It is just what I like doing. It's what I've developed for like my series and my characters. So also just adding this in there was nice. I know the color said fuchsia, but on the plant itself, it's like red going into yellow. So I figured orange was that nice in-between color. So obviously this reminds you of fire, funny enough. But I was like, I don't want fuchsia because it's like pink, but I was like, the orange though would work a lot better just for blending. Pink probably would have actually been interesting to do, but this is what I came up with, and overall I'm really happy with him. I do enjoy him. I think he looks good overall. But that is bringing us to the end of this video. So like I said before, I have 6 other Patreon companions I have done, which will be at a playlist at the end of this video if you want to check them out so you can see which other ones I have done. And that means I still have 5 more to do before I complete 1 round of Patreon companions, which I think is June. So exciting, super exciting. But he's probably my favorite so far just because he is a Stegosaurus and I think he just turned out really well. And also just kind of having like a somewhat natural lighting. But yes, that is it. Here's the final reveal. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the lore a little bit and kind of got your little creativity juices flowing. But other than that, I want to thank you so much for watching. And I shall see you in the next video. Bye!